Okay. Well, part of the reason that happened is you prepared your cue late. I thought you were going to cue them for the rest because you were turning as beat 3 happened, which if you were more set up for your cue, then you could focus more on your release. So measures 1, 2, and the beginning of 3 again. And why don't you pull beat 3 just a little more, and then when you're nice and up here, you should already be, you know, you're preparing cue, and you're on your cue, you've given it right on the count, you're turning around while you're pulling, and if you want to, use your left hand. So, let's see, 1, 2, cue. Okay, try that. Just measure 2.
Yeah, so if you're going to use both hands, you want to cue, or you want to release and mirror. You kind of, yeah, you did one of those things,
but they read it much clearer, and you don't have to turn quite so far to the left, which means you won't have quite so far to come back, so you won't be multitasking too much. Just do it one more time, or you know, again.
And they. When you're cueing the side of an ensemble, they don't need 100% of your attention. They just need enough to know that you're involving them. So if I were going to cue it, my baton hand would stay probably over here, and then I would just adjust them. That way these people aren't totally like unaware of what's going on. It just makes it hard for them to see.
A cue is a little thing. It seems so big compared to all these other things, but really, what's more important, that these people come in, or that everybody have a fermata and release together? The fermata and release is much more important on the big scheme, but cues are a little bit trickier. Most of it is attention. Just attention to them. I mean, Caitlin, yesterday in U-Band, I gave her a cue 3 times like this. 2 counts before. That was her cue. And I mean, because I had to immediately move on to cueing somebody else. She got it. She knew, oh, yep, I'm supposed to play somewhere. There's beat 3. So, yeah, learn to trust your ensemble and realize that it's attention more than anything else. Number 2. Scrubby in the release. Since she gave you a very little sound and it was not her best sound, you can assume she had spaced out for like the split second because everybody else was dead silent. So that's if you hear 2 or 3 people playing, you're not clear. If you hear one person playing very softly and timidly and kind of with large amounts of embarrassment, that's them spacing out, okay?
If you hear Kaylin playing stubbornly and loudly, then she's seeing something.
Okay. That was fine. That was fine. Number 3. The transition between measures 2 and 3 was not as clear as it could have been because the same thing as with Caitlin. You pulled out of the accent so quickly, but then you didn't give, in this case, you have to give a prep because you're not doing, there's not another change, so you have to go, and just float it down on the way. If you give it fast enough, they'll see that you're going to move into legato. And then you need to do measures 3 and 4 again.
Should I start again?
No, you can start on 3. You were successful, but your arm gestures were not comfortable. You pulled in and then went back out for like the last. Just keep it the same. And then you're lucky you didn't get people playing in your caesura because there was a lot of extra movement.
The diminuendo is tricky. You can just toy around with different places to start showing the diminuendo. The problem is it's a long diminuendo and you have that release that happens in the middle of it. I would probably find a way to implement my left hand in the release gesture and then continue to reinforce the diminuendo after that. So you're gonna if it were me, I would kind of start showing the diminuendo with just the baton, and then get the release and then reinforce it. There's different ways you can tweak that so you're not having to do this for a really long period of time that includes over top of a rest.
And that applies to all of you. Really long diminuendos. First of all, the second that anybody, humans, see a diminuendo, immediately they start decreasing on their sound. And usually it's like this. So you need to train your students that a diminuendo lasts a long time. Just like whenever they see a crescendo, they're immediately going to get louder. Delay the crescendo and delay the diminuendo. You actually want them to stay loud for a while and then drop down. So if you're, doing this, left hand is strong. It says, please do this now. If you're already engaging your left hand, then they're going to get softer too quickly. So a lot of it can just be a relaxing of tension and then bring in your left hand for when you really want to compress the sound.